understanding and conquering uncertainty. In the quiet chambers of the human mind, there often resides a subtle yet persistent shadow: uncertainty. It is not merely the doubt that arises when one faces an unfamiliar path, nor the hesitation before a momentous decision. It is a deeper, more insidious presence, one that undermines courage and clouds judgment. To understand and overcome this uncertainty is to begin the pursuit of a mind unshaken by the trivial storms of life. The Stoics, ancient philosophers of enduring wisdom, held that the mind has the power to remain firm, regardless of circumstance. Epictetus, a master of insight into the human soul, reminded his students, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." Herein lies the first profound lesson. Uncertainty is not born of the world outside, but of the world within. It is our interpretations, our imaginings of misfortune, that give shape to fear. The external events themselves are neutral, indifferent to our concerns. A man may face poverty, exile, or illness, and yet remain untroubled if his mind perceives them rightly. Conversely, one may possess wealth, comfort, and health, yet live in constant agitation if he allows his mind to be enslaved by desire and fear. To confront uncertainty, one must first cultivate awareness. The act of observing one's own thoughts, of recognizing the incessant chatter that declares what may or may not happen, is itself an act of liberation. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, counseled, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." These words echo through time because they illuminate a simple truth. Mastery of the self is the only true mastery. External accolades, possessions, and recognition are fleeting. The mind, however, is a citadel that no storm can breach if it is fortified by reason and virtue. Uncertainty often arises from our attachment to outcomes. We imagine the future, conjuring images of success or disaster, and allow our peace to hinge upon events yet to unfold. Seneca, writing with the precision of a healer of the soul, observed, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. The mind, left unchecked, fabricates horrors more fearsome than the world itself can provide." Here is a fundamental practice of the Stoic sage: to examine and question every fearful thought, asking, "Is this true? Does this lie within my power?" If not, it is folly to surrender one's peace to it. Consider the uncertainty of human judgment. We seek approval from others, fearing disapproval and censure. Yet, the opinions of men are beyond our command. Epictetus again, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By internalizing this, one recognizes that confidence does not spring from the applause of the crowd, nor from the absence of obstacles, but from the steadfast alignment of thought and action with reason and virtue. A man who acts rightly need fear no judgment, for it is not the world that defines him, but his own reasoned choice. The Stoics also teach that adversity is the truest test of the mind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle, every moment of hesitation is an opportunity to exercise the mind's strength. Uncertainty, when faced with courage and reflection, transforms into wisdom. The waves that threaten to capsize a vessel reveal the sailor's skill. So too, the challenges that unsettle the mind reveal the fortitude of character. One practical exercise is reflection each morning and evening. Upon waking, consider the trials that may arise, not to invite fear, but to prepare the mind. Marcus Aurelius suggested, When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. By focusing on what is within one's control, and by anticipating hardship with calm reasoning, the mind becomes resilient. In the evening, review the day's actions, noting where reason guided conduct and where it faltered, not with self-reproach, but with gentle correction. This practice, sustained over time, diminishes uncertainty, replacing it with clarity and confidence. Yet, the Stoic path is not merely about mental exercises. It is a philosophy lived in deeds. Courage, temperance, justice, and wisdom are not abstract ideals, but tools for confronting the unknown. When fear arises, ask, is this action just? Is it necessary? Does it align with reason? In so doing, doubt loses its dominion. In summary, uncertainty is not a natural state of the human mind. It is the product of misperception, attachment, and misplaced trust in the uncontrollable. The Stoic response is to turn inward, to cultivate mastery of thought, to embrace obstacles as opportunities, and to root confidence not in externals, but in reasoned action and virtue. By doing so, the mind is liberated, unshaken by the vicissitudes of fortune, and poised to face life with calm clarity. Stoic practices to remove uncertainty. While understanding the nature of uncertainty is vital, true freedom comes from practice. Stoicism is not a mere intellectual exercise. It is a way of living, a training of the mind in the art of inner mastery. To remove uncertainty from one's thoughts, one must engage daily in disciplined reflection, deliberate choice, and mindful action. Morning reflection. Preparing the mind each day presents a host of unknowns. To meet them with confidence, the Stoics recommend beginning the morning with contemplation. Marcus Aurelius advises, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This exercise is more than gratitude. It is a preparation for the inevitable challenges. Before leaving the tranquility of one's room, the mind envisions possible difficulties, delays, criticism, misunderstandings, or hardships. The purpose is not to incite fear, but to steel the mind against surprise. By contemplating potential obstacles, one removes their power to unsettle when they appear. Evening reflection, learning from experience. The evening offers another moment of clarity. As the day closes, one should review actions, decisions, and responses. Marcus Aurelius writes, look back over the past day, see what you did rightly and what you did wrongly. Correct it tomorrow. This reflection is not self-reproach, it is careful observation. By examining where doubt, fear, or distraction influence behavior, the mind identifies weaknesses and strengthens them through conscious effort. Over time, this practice cultivates confidence rooted not in external success, but in mastery of thought, the discipline of desire and aversion. Uncertainty often thrives where attachment rules. We fear loss, crave approval, or resist discomfort. Seneca cautions, we are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality. The remedy lies in training the mind to desire only what is within its control and to accept what is not. By focusing solely on actions and judgments that one can command, anxiety and doubt lose their grip. A man who learns to distinguish between what he can shape and what lies beyond him discovers a wellspring of calm confidence. Negative visualization. Anticipating adversity. Stoics practiced a method called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This involves imagining the loss of wealth, status, health, or even life itself. Such contemplation is not morbid, it is liberating. Marcus Aurelius notes, "Think often of the swiftness with which all things pass away and the universality of change." By rehearsing hardship mentally, one becomes familiar with its emotional weight. When misfortune occurs, it strikes not with surprise, but with a measured awareness. The mind, having confronted fear in imagination, reacts with clarity and composure in reality. Control of judgments. At the heart of uncertainty lies misjudgment. We often assume danger where there is none, doubt where certainty exists, and anticipate loss where none is imminent. Epictetus teaches, "It is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about them." This principle empowers the mind to reclaim authority. By examining the beliefs behind anxiety, asking whether they are true, necessary, or within one's power to change, one dissolves fear. Doubt becomes an object of reason, rather than a master of the soul. Separation from public opinion. Another source of uncertainty is concern for the judgment of others. Approval and disapproval, praise and blame are largely beyond our influence. Seneca reminds us, "What need is there to weep over parts of life? The whole of it calls for tears." In other words, the human condition itself is uncertain. To tether one's peace to the whims of others is to surrender to external turbulence. The Stoic seeks approval only from reason and virtue, internal benchmarks that remain steadfast regardless of circumstance, acting with courage. Knowledge and reflection alone are insufficient. Uncertainty dissipates when coupled with decisive, virtuous action. Courage is the antidote to hesitation. Marcus Aurelius writes, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." By committing to action aligned with reason and virtue, the mind affirms its mastery. Each choice made with integrity strengthens confidence, and over time, hesitation gives way to calm assurance. Moderation and temperance excess desire and avoidance of discomfort fuel doubt. The Stoics practiced temperance, moderation in all things, from appetite to ambition. Seneca advises, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." By moderating desires, the mind frees itself from uncertainty tied to acquisition or external success. Contentment arises not from abundance, but from sufficiency and rational acceptance. Daily exercises in Stoic mindfulness. To cultivate certainty, one may engage in simple daily exercises. 1. Observation of thoughts. Record and examine anxious or doubtful thoughts. Are they grounded in reality? Are they within your control? 2. Intentional action. Choose actions deliberately, aligned with virtue, rather than reacting impulsively. 3. Reflection on mortality. Contemplate impermanence, not to despair, but to value each moment, and remove attachment to trivial fears. 4. Rehearsal of challenges. Imagine difficulties that may arise, preparing the mind to face them with calm reasoning. These exercises, repeated over time, form the backbone of Stoic training. Like a sculptor chiseling marble, the practitioner shapes the mind, removing the rough edges of doubt, fear, and indecision. Inner harmony and Stoic fortitude. Even when one masters reflection, discipline, and deliberate action, the mind may still waver in the face of life's inherent unpredictability. Here, the Stoics emphasize the cultivation of inner harmony, a serene alignment of thought, reason, and action that renders external turbulence powerless over the spirit. The serenity of the rational mind. The Stoic ideal is not freedom from challenges, but freedom within them. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The rational mind, guided by virtue, is capable of standing firm amid uncertainty. It does not crave what is beyond its reach, nor fear what it cannot avoid. Each thought is examined, each desire questioned, and each action measured against the standard of reason. In such a state, uncertainty loses its authority because the mind is anchored not to the changing world, but to its own rational and virtuous nature. Acceptance of fate. The Stoics teach that acceptance of fate, or amor fati, is essential for inner tranquility. Life is filled with circumstances beyond our control: loss, illness, the caprices of others, but resistance to them only breeds anxiety. Epictetus counsels, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." Acceptance does not imply passivity. It is the recognition of limits and the conscious choice to act within them. By aligning one's will with the natural course of events, uncertainty no longer wields dominion over the mind. Endurance through adversity. Stoic fortitude is cultivated through trials. Each challenge presents an opportunity to practice courage, patience, and resilience. Marcus Aurelius notes, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles are not hindrances, but instruments of growth. When faced with doubt or fear, the Stoic does not retreat, but uses the difficulty as a test of strength. Each time the mind confronts uncertainty with composure, it reinforces its capacity to remain unshaken. The role of virtue. For the Stoics, virtue is the ultimate guide and anchor. Wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance provide the framework within which doubt cannot thrive. Seneca writes, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." A virtuous life, centered on reason and moral integrity, cultivates confidence because it is self-contained. The virtuous person does not rely on wealth, reputation, or external validation for peace of mind. By rooting one's life in enduring principles rather than fleeting circumstances, uncertainty loses its foothold. Detachment from external validation. Human beings naturally seek approval, yet reliance on others for affirmation breeds instability. Epictetus teaches, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." By prioritizing inner judgment over external opinion, one frees the mind from the unpredictable whims of society. Confidence emerges not from applause or praise, but from fidelity to reasoned choice and virtuous conduct. The fear of judgment, once a source of hesitation, dissolves. Mindfulness and presence. Living fully in the present is another powerful antidote to uncertainty. Worry is often a projection into the future, imagining outcomes that may never occur. Marcus Aurelius instructs, "Confine yourself to the present." By focusing on the task at hand, the moment at hand, one cultivates clarity and decisive action. The mind, no longer dispersed in imagined fears, becomes calm and capable. Presence itself is an anchor that stabilizes the spirit amidst external flux. Philosophical contemplation, as shield Stoic philosophy, is both a guide and a shield. Regular engagement with its teachings fortifies the mind against the sway of doubt. Reading, reflection, and meditation on Stoic texts remind the practitioner of fundamental truths: the transience of all things, the futility of fearing what is beyond control, and the sufficiency of reason. As Seneca advises, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Philosophical dialogue, whether internal or shared with others, strengthens understanding and reinforces confidence. The mind, steeped in reason, learns to navigate uncertainty, not with fear, but with clarity and wisdom, building resilience. Gradually, the transformation from doubt to confidence is gradual. Like the forging of steel, it requires sustained exposure to difficulty, tempered by reflection and disciplined practice. Each moment of hesitation, each challenge faced with courage, adds to the mind's capacity for serenity. The Stoics liken this to building a house. A solid foundation in virtue supports the structure of a peaceful and confident mind, impervious to the storms of life. Emotional mastery and Stoic resilience. Understanding and reflection alone are insufficient if the mind remains at the mercy of emotions. Fear, anxiety, and self-doubt are powerful forces that can cloud judgment and erode confidence. The Stoics, however, provide precise tools for mastering these emotions and cultivating resilience. Distinguishing between what we can and cannot control, central to Stoic practice, is the distinction between what lies within our power and what does not. Epictetus asserts, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." Fear and uncertainty often arise when we attempt to control the uncontrollable. By clearly identifying what we can influence, our judgments, desires, and actions, and what lies beyond our command, the opinions of others, natural events, and outcomes, we liberate the mind from unnecessary agitation. Fear as a teacher. Rather than denying fear, the Stoics advise examining it. Fear is not inherently evil. It is a signal, a reflection of perceived threat or attachment. Seneca writes, "He who is brave is free." Courage, then, is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act rightly despite it. By facing fear deliberately and analyzing its source, one diminishes its power. Each confrontation with fear, however small, strengthens the mind and builds unshakable confidence. Practicing emotional detachment. Emotional detachment, or apatheia, is the Stoic ideal of maintaining clarity and composure regardless of external circumstances. Marcus Aurelius advises, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This detachment does not mean indifference to life or others. Rather, it is the capacity to experience emotions without being dominated by them. One can feel sorrow, joy, or disappointment, yet respond rationally, guided by reason and virtue. Emotional mastery transforms uncertainty into calm assessment and deliberate action. Building resilience through adversity. Adversity is the forge of resilience. Each difficulty provides an opportunity to practice patience, courage, and reason. Marcus Aurelius teaches, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By perceiving obstacles not as misfortune, but as instruments of growth, the mind converts potential anxiety into strength. Life's challenges, rather than undermining confidence, become the medium through which resilience is developed. Reflective journaling and mental discipline. A practical tool for emotional mastery is reflective journaling. Recording fears, doubts, and emotional reactions allows one to examine them with reason. Epictetus advises internal scrutiny. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Through this practice, emotional responses become objects of analysis rather than automatic reactions. The mind learns to recognize patterns, correct distortions, and reinforce rational judgment, gradually eliminating the grip of uncertainty. Visualization of the worst-case scenario. Stoics employed the technique of premeditatio malorum, imagining the worst-case scenario. This mental exercise reduces the shock of adversity. Seneca notes, "We are always complaining that our days are few, and acting as though there would be no end of them." By contemplating possible misfortunes and rehearsing appropriate reasoned responses, the mind prepares itself. Fear loses its novelty, and uncertainty is replaced by readiness and confidence, cultivating patience and endurance. Time is a patient teacher. The Stoics emphasize endurance over haste. Confidence is not an instant gift, but the product of repeated practice. Marcus Aurelius counsels, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Patience with the process, combined with rigorous self-discipline, ensures that the mind's growth is steady and enduring. Small, deliberate acts of courage and reason accumulate into unshakable mental fortitude. The community of the mind. Though Stoicism often emphasizes individual responsibility, engagement with like-minded individuals reinforces resilience. Epictetus suggests, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Philosophical dialogue, mentorship, and observation of virtuous behavior in others serve as mirrors and guides. Seeing others practice reason and courage strengthens one's own commitment and confidence. Integration of Stoic principles. Ultimately, emotional mastery and resilience are not separate disciplines, but aspects of a unified Stoic life. Daily reflection, deliberate action, acceptance of fate, visualization of challenges, and virtuous engagement with the world coalesce into a mind free from debilitating uncertainty. Fear, doubt, and hesitation are transformed into awareness, preparedness, and courageous action. The fortress of the mind and complete liberation from uncertainty. The Stoic journey toward freedom from uncertainty is not merely an intellectual pursuit. It is the cultivation of the mind as a fortress, impregnable against the chaos of external events. After understanding the nature of doubt, practicing disciplined reflection, mastering emotions, and building resilience, one arrives at a state of profound inner confidence. The mind as a fortress. The Stoics envisioned the mind as a citadel fortified by reason, virtue, and self-awareness. Epictetus reminds us, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Control over the mind, over judgments, desires, and responses, constitutes the foundation of freedom. Just as a fortress resists the assault of armies, so too does a disciplined mind resist the assault of fear, hesitation, and uncertainty. Nothing external can shake it, for its strength resides not in circumstances, but in the integrity and vigilance of its inner walls, living in accord with nature. A Stoic's confidence grows from alignment with nature and reason. Marcus Aurelius writes, "Adapt yourself to the life you have been given, and truly love the people with whom destiny has surrounded you." By accepting reality as it is, rather than as one wishes it to be, and by acting according to reason and virtue, the mind remains untroubled. Uncertainty loses its power because the Stoic does not resist what cannot be changed, but responds with deliberate action to what lies within control. Courage in everyday life. Complete liberation from uncertainty is expressed through courage in daily actions. Every choice, from small decisions to momentous deeds, is an opportunity to exercise reason over fear. Seneca observes, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." By acting purposefully and virtuously in each moment, one affirms confidence and eliminates hesitation. Courage is not a rare event, but a habitual state of mind, cultivated through repeated engagement with life's challenges. Integration of reflection and action. The Stoic life integrates reflection, understanding, and action. Morning contemplation prepares the mind, evening reflection corrects and reinforces it, and deliberate engagement throughout the day exercises its strength. Marcus Aurelius instructs, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. B1. Confidence arises naturally from consistency between thought, judgment, and action. When the mind acts rightly in accordance with reason, doubt cannot survive. Embracing change and impermanence. Life is impermanent. Everything changes. The Stoic embraces this reality rather than resisting it. Marcus Aurelius notes, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as change." By internalizing impermanence, one releases attachment to outcomes and the fear of uncertainty. Change becomes a natural rhythm of life, not a source of anxiety. The final state, tranquility and unshakable confidence. After years of study, reflection, and disciplined practice, the Stoic achieves a state of tranquility, an inner stillness unperturbed by external events. Fear, hesitation, and doubt no longer command attention. Instead, the mind is confident, deliberate, and free. As Epictetus teaches, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. By consistently aligning one's actions with reason, virtue, and what is within control, the mind becomes its own source of strength. This is the ultimate victory over uncertainty, not the elimination of challenges, but mastery over one's own response to them. Applying Stoicism in everyday life. Practical application is essential. A person seeking to remove uncertainty from their mind can 1. Begin each day with reflection on potential challenges and the preparation of responses. 2. Examine thoughts and emotions as they arise, distinguishing what is within control and what is not. 3. Act deliberately, guided by virtue, rather than reacting impulsively to fear or doubt. 4. Embrace obstacles as opportunities for growth and reinforcement of resilience. 5. End each day with reflection, assessing actions, correcting misjudgments, and reinforcing lessons learned. Through these consistent practices, the mind gradually transforms into a fortress, impervious to doubt, fear, or hesitation. Confidence arises naturally from disciplined thought, virtuous action, and acceptance of the ever-changing nature of life.